If you are from the church, the universe, or just someone trying to understand how all of this works, perhaps the teachings of Jesus explain why the law of attraction works for so many people, including those who have never set foot in a church. Today, there is an almost collective urgency around manifesting results, aligning thoughts, and attracting what one desires. It's not only inside the church, it's an urgency that crosses entire cultures. People talk about frequency, energy, and the law of attraction, as if the resolution of our problems depended on reaching a specific inner state and a high vibration. And thinking about this, a sentence began to take shape in my mind. Jesus, during his earthly passage, was the person who vibrated the highest. Obviously, not in the popular sense people usually use, but in the deeper sense of someone totally aligned with what is eternal. Because when you observe the Gospels closely, you notice a pattern that is hard to ignore. And this is exactly where the conversation shifts to another level. The New Thought movement, which directly influenced works like The Secret by Rhonda Byrne and practices like Ho'oponopono, talks about something called the field. The field is a source of intelligent, creative energy that permeates everything. Some call it the universe. Others call it quantum consciousness. The idea is that there is an intelligence behind everything and that it does not respond to your words, but to the frequency of your thoughts and feelings. And the more aligned you are with this source, and the longer you maintain that alignment, the greater your ability to influence the reality around you. And how does this alignment happen? According to this movement, by eliminating what creates noise between you and the source: fear, lack of faith, disunity, ingratitude, limiting beliefs, greed, complaining, guilt, and unworthiness. That's why there are exercises and practices like Ho'oponopono, meditation, gratitude practices aimed at cleansing the mind and the heart. Up to this point, maybe you've already noticed something curious. And now I need to show you something. Look at this list of noise. Do you know who instructs us to get rid of all of this? The entire Bible, Old and New Testament, Proverbs, Psalms, Isaiah, Peter, James. From beginning to end, the Bible tells us to cultivate exactly the opposite: love, peace, faith, gentleness, long-suffering, generosity, forgiveness, gratitude. It doesn't seem like a coincidence. They are the same principles, with different languages. And who embodied all of this absolutely? Jesus. Jesus does not appear dominated by fear. He does not react with resentment. He does not live anxious about tomorrow. He speaks of peace, of trust, of a heart firm in God. There is a wholeness there that draws attention. But here comes an important detail. Jesus did not live like this because he mastered spiritual techniques or because he reached an elevated state through practices. Jesus was the very source dwelling in human form. John 1:1 says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Word here, in the original Greek, is logos, which means the creative intelligence, the reason that orders all existence, the principle that sustains reality. Greek philosophers were already using this word centuries earlier to describe the force that keeps the cosmos united. And John states that this logos became flesh and dwelt among us. In other words, what New Thought calls the field, what Greek philosophy called logos, what Ho'oponopono calls the source, the Bible presents as a person. And the name of that person is Jesus. So when Jesus heals, when he speaks and the storm becomes calm, when he calls Lazarus out of the tomb, it is not someone trying to reach alignment. It is the source itself acting without obstacle. Jesus vibrated high because he was the vibration itself. And notice something many people ignore. The principles that govern this source are universal. God did not create physical laws that work only for those who go to church. Gravity works for everyone. The sun rises for everyone. And spiritual principles, love, faith, absence of fear, inner wholeness, work for everyone too. That is why you find people without a religious life who have astonishing testimonies of transformation using New Thought practices. Not because God is wrong or because the Bible is wrong, but because they are, without knowing, operating principles that belong to God, even without knowing the source, like the rain that falls on the just and the unjust. The difference is that those who know the source do not need to try to align with something or someone they do not know, because there is identity, relationship, and direction. The phrase, Jesus vibrated high, is only a description of something the Bible has shown for a long time. A life totally aligned with the Father, without noise, without division. And in the same way that the New Thought perspective states, alignment with Christ comes through intention, awareness, and inner consistency, never through robotic repetition. Maybe the name isn't the most important thing. Vibrating high or life with God. Deep down, the question is simple. What within us still blocks the impossible from becoming possible? If this made sense, leave a like and share it with someone who needs to hear this message.